In terms of defining your identity, the second thing we're going to look at is values, which answers the question, what matters most to you? Now, values are often formed in childhood, but can adapt and change as you go through different stages of life. They are many times influenced by our upbringing or passed down through generations by family. It's the reason that many people in the military have a legacy of family members who are also in the military. Or there's a generational value placed on service or courage or bravery. That's because our values serve as guideposts toward our individual purpose, and by evaluating which principles are most important to us, we can start seeing patterns shaping how we interact with other people. So let's take the real world example of this in Roy Disney, Walt Disney's brother. Unlike Walt, Roy was known to be very shy and he hated the limelight, which was a good fit as he served as the business mind to his creative-leaning brother. Even though he sold company shares to Walt in 1929, he later became the CEO of Disney Studios. Now, when Walt died, Roy postponed his own retirement to oversee the construction of Disney World, which he later renamed to Walt Disney World in honor of his brother, and then retired once it opened. From this little bit that we know, we can make some assumptions about a few of the values that Roy probably held. One, family was important to him, but fame was not. His upholding of his brother's name and legacy after death may have meant that he was focused on rightness or equity or honor. Interestingly enough, Roy Disney truly understood how values shaped our life choices. At one point, he even said, "It's not hard to make decisions when you know what your values are." Each of us has certain values we adhere to called our core values. And these values shape how we make decisions and interact with the world around us. The secret is to find out which values guide your thinking and shape your worldview. As you look over this module's worksheet, review the list of values and mark which of those you feel most inclined toward. There may be 4 or there may be 20, but mark down any of them that you feel really represent who you are. Feel free to add others if you see fit. Once you have your list, pull out the top 5 values and put them in order of what is most important to you, and then rewrite them in their own short list. Do you see any patterns? Maybe you selected the words power, leadership, and confidence. What do you think those point to when they're put together? Who do you picture when you imagine those values in a person? Once you've narrowed down those core values, keep them in mind as you work forward in this cohort, because you'll likely find they shape a lot of your perspectives, your decision-making, and even the type of company you may want to work for. For that, let's look at one more example. Imagine that you take a job as a salesperson for a large pharmaceutical company in the future. As the months progress, your supervisor starts asking you to play with your numbers a little bit to make them look better for an audit by the management and the company. How you will handle that scenario in real life would be up to you. But I can tell you this, if your core values include honesty and integrity, you're going to have a really hard time falling in line with those managers' demands. Most likely, it'll cause you a fair amount of stress in your work life, and you'll have some hard decisions to make as to whether or not to be true to yourself and who you are at your core, or to be true to the job and keep that. Oftentimes, when people get disillusioned with a job, it's because somewhere along the line, it's not lining up with what they value most. Veterans tend to face this a lot as well because they've been instilled with values like honor and respect. And they soon come to find out that there are many people within the corporate world that do not share those values. Now remember, values, as you're working forward, are guideposts, not magic 8 balls. They don't give you all the answers, they just point the way to where your heart naturally lies. But just like guideposts, they're great to refer to along the way to make sure you're staying on the right path.